not cooking today. You guys are cooking.
Yay! Hopefully we'll still be alive.
How long did it take you to grow 100,000? It's been my lifetime goal.
6 months. It's okay.
Yeah, you grew up pretty fast.
It'll happen. It'll happen once I'll share you my secrets.
All right.
I'll share you my secrets how we do that fast.
You gotta watch all the way to the end to get that.
You guys are in real estate, right?
Yes.
I was in real estate.
No way.
Whoa!
Yeah. Cheers to St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St.
Yes,
Patrick's Day.
and talking about cash flow. Yep.
So-
Having a cash flow rose in my kitchen.
Because you're
pass
not-
me some Pepsid.
I'm Ben,
And I'm Evan.
and we're the Cash Flow Bros.
All right, guys,
So
we're
good.
in my house.
My house.
Oh, your house. Her house.
My house. My house.
We are at Mai's house shooting.
Cash Flow Bros.
This
and
is so cool.
and we're in for a real treat because
yes.
literally we're here with the creator of My Healthy Dish.
Yes, thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for having us in your kitchen and your home. So tell us what we're preparing for today.
Well, you guys are in for a treat because I'm not cooking today. You guys are cooking.
Yay!
Woo! Hopefully we'll still be alive.
Hopefully I'll be alive after eating.
Yeah.
But we are making poke bowls with this fresh salmon. And I thought that maybe you guys could help prep this and then we'll make it together.
Let's
How's
do
that?
it.
We're your assistant. Let's go.
Yes,
Okay.
sous chefs today.
Tell us what to do.
Okay, so you're gonna be in charge of just like cutting all these veggies. So we have the green onions, Persian cucumbers, shallots, and we'll say this avocado for last because this is like the topping
The
for
topping,
everything.
yes.
We want it to be brown. And this is our toppings for later. And you're gonna cut the salmon. How is that?
Ooh, you got the good job.
All right, let's go.
I
With
get
your
the vegetable
guidance,
and you get
Yeah.
the, you get the
I'll
protein.
be down.
The common thing in the kitchen when you cut proteins is that you want this plastic cutting board for like all your raw stuff, all the meat and stuff, and you save the wooden stuff for the veggies and stuff because
Makes sense.
bacteria could seep into this.
Ah,
so we just do all
I
of
didn't
it.
know
You
that.
just learned something new.
Sorry, honey.
Very
I haven't been doing
cool.
that.
All right.
Yeah, I should change my wooden cutting board then.
And I just happen to have it says My Healthy Dish.
Let's go.
All right.
All right,
And
so-
notice we're using a green cutting board because St. Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patrick's
Happy
Day. I
St.
think we have beer too.
Yes.
Do we have green beer somewhere?
Oh, we'll make it happen.
Maybe we'll get mine to do a shotgun later. We'll see.
Ooh.
I have the Asian glow, and I will drink a little bit just because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Let's go. So
I
that
like
way you
that.
won't get pinched
Someone
because you're
pass
not.
me some Pepsid.
I was like, all right. But while we're doing that,
Yeah.
we love to kind of get into the Cash Flow Bros episode of how you cash flow. And it's really awesome for our episode today because me and Evan, we're real estate nerds and we always just talk about real estate, but there's cash flow outside of real estate.
Right.
And we want to kind of dig into the economics and, a lot of people know your social media side, but we want to get to know your business side too.
Yeah,
Because
of
you're a business savvy woman here. And I think our audience can take a lot of value out of that. So, so we'll kind of get going here, but we'll kind of chat about how you get started, the evolution of that, and where you're at today.
Okay, so you want to know how I got started?
Yes. How did you get started in this?
Yeah, and how long
niche?
ago?
You guys are gonna love this story.
Yes.
Tell me, I love stories.
Because you guys are in real estate, right?
Yes.
I was in real estate.
No way.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that little secret.
That's the little secret that you kept the whole time. So
Yeah.
tell us more.
When I say real estate, I was in mortgage. I worked for Lehman Brothers.
No way. Okay.
And
All
you
right.
guys remember was it 2005?
The crash. Before the crash.
Yeah, like around 2005 that the mortgage bubble burst and everything. So my husband and I, we were both in mortgage.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
I hate to say it, but subprime.
The subprime days.
Another nasty
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
You know, and so
You're the reason the market went belly up.
That's why she's feeding everyone.
I will take partial blame for that.
Okay.
But
We were all part of it.
so when the mortgage bubble burst, I lost my job
Okay.
and my husband lost his job.
Hmm.
And then I got pregnant with twins. And then we foreclosed on our home and moved in with my parents at the age of 30.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So that was a fun time. When that happened, it really opened my eyes to like what I wanted to do that made me happy. And that was not making me happy. That was just paying the bills. So I had like a quick restart. So when the girls were, as I say, 3 years old, we had a garage sale and we sold all their baby stuff. And I bought an iPhone.
Wow, you bought an iPhone. Is it an
It's
iPhone
like we were-
4?
I don't even know. It might be the first iPhone
Yeah,
ever.
yeah, it might be the first
Like,
iPhone back in 05.
It's been 10 years. So the two things I downloaded first was Angry Birds and,
wow.
and Instagram, of course.
That
You know.
keeps you occupied.
Yeah.
And this is like Instagram when it was like before
This
Facebook
is
bought them out.
MySpace. This is the MySpace days.
I don't know my MySpace password, but there'll be some interesting stuff on that. We can find that for blackmail later. But yeah, I started on Instagram then, and when everyone was posting photos of their family and you know what they're doing, I just saw something there. Like there's something here. Like this is like gonna be big. So I borrowed $1,500 from my mom, and I bought a MacBook, and I just started sharing recipes, hoping that I could grow an audience on this Instagram page. And it literally, like, I was doing it as a full-time job, 40 hours a week on Instagram, responding to people, engaging to people, posting, creating recipes, when everyone else was still just like
Posting photos.
Posting photos.
Yeah.
So I grew to 100,000 followers pretty quickly.
How long did it take you to grow 100,000? Because it's been my lifetime goal.
6 months. It's
Yeah,
okay.
you blew it pretty fast.
It'll happen. It'll happen once I'll share you my secrets.
All right.
I'll share you my secrets how we grew that fast.
You gotta watch all the way to the end to get that. Because
Yeah.
I drove all the way here to get that.
So we are, fast forward 10 years and later, we're at 9 million and growing about 300,000 to 400,000 a month consistently, because I cracked the code. So I'll tell you guys the code.
Right, and that's kind of where all this business opportunities are all coming from, right? Because
Yeah.
of this big old following that you created. But before you kind of got there, what gave you that light bulb moment? Like, recipes is going to be my thing that I start out with on Instagram. This is going to be big.
Recipes. Well, food wasn't always my passion. Sorry, guys.
Oh, the curtain's being
Hearing
removed
from the
here.
shelf.
Recipes and cooking was not my passion. What would really interest me was like the science behind food and how it affected your body.
Yeah.
So when I was lost my job, I actually went back to school to become a nutritionist.
Oh,
So
okay.
I already had a
That makes
BA
sense.
in like marketing and advertising, but I really wanted to learn the science behind food. Unfortunately, I was delivering the night of my nutrition exam finals, like an A in the class, by the way.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
incredible. But I could not go back to school after the twins were born, unfortunately. But I felt like I had enough information I needed. And the cooking background is that my family had a restaurant.
Oh.
So I was like a server there, plating and everything. So I know a lot about like visually making food stunning, and then cooking, and then the nutrition part. So that's kind of where it all came in. And the marketing side was just from my degree from before. So I know all the things. How funny how thing kind of just like works out.
Yeah, kind of like a
where-
perfect storm.
And
almost.
I like that story and your connection between cooking and marketing, because a lot of people might be a good book writer, but if they're not good at marketing themselves, it doesn't make you a good writer if there's no reader.
100% true.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a story of why that's so true is that there are a million chefs out there on
Correct.
social media who cook a lot better than I do, who make amazing food, but no one knows about.
Right.
Because they're really good at what they do, but they're not good at the business end.
Yeah.
So-
So it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I like how you convey that, and you turn into an inspiration for a lot of people too.
Oh, I wouldn't say inspiration for a lot of people, but I say inspiration for
that guy right there,
for
for
a lot
sure.
of entrepreneurial women out there. A lot of women out there do like look up to me as like a mom, an entrepreneur, and a businesswoman, and how I balance all of it. Do you want to start cutting some
Yeah,
of the onions?
so
Because I think you're
just-
going to be hungry by the time we finish talking.
Yeah, let's get
chop
going.
it up, chop
Yeah,
it up.
do you want to
so-
cut some of the salmon?
Yes,
too?
yes.
I'm gonna move over.
Okay.
Or do you want to move over here?
Yeah, let's do that.
You
Okay.
just put all these veggies in here.
So, I'm gonna need your guidance here.
So I want you to cut it into bite-sized cubes. Have
sure.
you ever had poke before? You've been to Hawaii?
Yes.
Okay. So this is fresh sushi grade salmon.
Okay.
I know a lot of people can't find this in the stores, so
Yeah, what's
you can
the-
order it online, or especially when you're dealing with fish and you're eating it raw. If you don't know, put it in the freezer to kill any bacteria, any parasites, and then
Interesting.
take it out. Just don't eat it off the shelf
Oh, okay. So
if you can't find sushi.
I want to wash my hands also,
Yes,
just to make
please,
sure.
let's not get some problems in the kitchen.
You're supposed.
You've done this before?
truth is, I've been cooking a few dishes that you post on Instagram.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, I follow a little bit.
So we might be jumping around a little bit, but you mentioned something that I think is really cool. And, when I was first following you,
Right to the left.
oh, thank you. Here?
Yeah.
One thing is, I like how you always kind of been incorporating your family into your social media. And how I found out about another part of your family was your brother who owns a restaurant called Blue Saigon.
Yeah.
Super cool. And tell us about that, because it looked like he came from a truck to a restaurant, and now he's got something over in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I know.
That's super cool.
We're a foodie family.
Yeah.
We started, like I said, we had a family restaurant called Little Saigon.
Ah, okay.
And, typical Asians, my parents had no idea what they were doing when they were opening this restaurant. They mortgaged the house
Yeah.
and bought this restaurant, never owned a restaurant in their lives.
Wow. And how did that go? How did that restaurant? Tell us.
It almost tore our family apart.
Wow.
Because, we did not sign up for this. And all of a sudden we were sucked into it. So I was working in the mortgage business. And at 5 o'clock I would clock out and go to the restaurant and be a server. So I wouldn't get home till like midnight.
wow.
So I was
Yeah.
working 2 jobs because at restaurants, you can't just, it's so hard to keep employees.
I'm sure.
So we all ended up working in the restaurant. My sister, my sister-in-law, my brother became the chef because we had to fire the chef because he was stealing from us. I mean, it's just too much going on.
It's not just cooking food.
No.
It's
When
more
they say
than
that, you hate someone, tell them to go open a restaurant.
Yeah.
So you don't see them ever again.
Yeah, and you don't realize the margins are so fine in restaurants.
Oh,
Like
I bet.
99% of restaurants fail the first year. And
Right.
we
That's
were
true.
just no exception to that rule. So my brother, he was the chef. He loved the part of that.
Yeah.
So he took that and ran with it, and he opened a food truck called Blue Saigon. But then that was when the food trucks were really booming. You
Yeah.
know, there was a minute where food trucks had a moment.
Right. Totally.
Yeah, and now it's just hard to sustain a business without a full kitchen. So he opened a restaurant in Pittsburgh, which is doing phenomenal.
It's like the hometown favorite over there. I saw, like,
is.
with the candied chicken wings and all
Garlic
that.
noodles,
Yeah, exactly. Garlic noodles.
And one thing was really surprising was that his business model was quick service, not really sit down.
Right.
And his restaurant was the only one that was booming during the pandemic because his clients were all used to being trained to order food already.
Right.
So before, they didn't need DoorDash. They just they call and just order.
Yeah, this is a normal thing for
It was
them.
normal then. So his business was booming.
Yeah.
So during that time, I'm like, okay, let's open another restaurant at the Venetian because his business is doing well and redo that model over there.
That's
So
freaking awesome.
I flew over there this week just to help him out.
Now,
Yeah.
speaking of pandemic, a lot of restaurants fail because of the pandemic, but a lot of people that I see took off.
Yeah.
It helps a lot of business as well. Tell us, your transitions as a, social media, and what happened to you during the pandemic.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So, interestingly enough, it's been about 3 years since the pandemic. We've been here about 3 years from
Yep.
the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was at 700,000 followers prior pandemic.
Wow.
That's
Prior.
terrible. 700,000.
Well, I mean, it's terrible to me, right? But 700,000.
We barely have 700 followers, so.
We'll figure that
I have
out.
4.
We'll give you some tips and tricks.
Okay.
But the best thing, the silver lining with the pandemic was that my business flourished because all of a sudden
Right.
travel stopped. All my sponsors pulled the cord, and I was just at home. And I just came back from a trip from a Disney trip where we were speaking about TikTok and learning about TikTok. And I just did a nosedive into TikTok, filming 3-4 videos a day, not really sleeping. I was really just pounding the pavement and growing my audience to millions in that just small amount of time.
Yeah.
And then because I finally felt like if I could make this happen here, because I always thought Instagram was a fluke.
Right.
I came in early, no one was taking advantage of it, so I got lucky and I grew my audience on Instagram. But to recreate that on TikTok I felt like, okay, maybe I am not an imposter. Maybe I do know how to create content. Maybe I do give something of value. So I went over onto YouTube and tried to recreate that magic. And YouTube is like the holy grail for like content creators, right?
Totally.
We all know that being on YouTube, you are your own boss. You make your own money. You know, you don't have to rely on sponsors, and just the CPM is high. Everything.
Right.
So that's the holy grail for us. And I never thought that I belonged on YouTube, but I did it. I hit the thing, and I hit the ground running on that one. And in 1 year, went over 1 million.
Yeah, you're like at 1 point something, 1 or something like that right now on YouTube.
1.6 now.
1.6? Okay.
1.6,
My bad.
And then I started that again. So that gave me so much confidence, because as a social media creator, you always feel like you're an imposter, that you're, you know, so one day my followers are going to wake up and think that I'm not worth it, you know?
Yeah.
But that gave me so much confidence to make it on YouTube that I went over on Facebook. And again, just hit a million on Facebook 2 weeks ago.
I saw that. Congratulations.
That's freaking awesome.
That's a big milestone. And,
Thank you.
And you saw that coming. You're like, there's something about Facebook. I remember you telling me there's something about Facebook that you're now focusing more attention towards Facebook.
Yeah.
And tell us, what did you see?
Well, the trend right now is short form video.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything is like, everyone wants
Even YouTube.
TikTok, everything is short form video. And when everyone's going short, you should go long.
Yes.
Ooh. I do my 1 hour video.
Yeah, 1 hour is insane for me. I'll work up to 1 hour. But when everyone's looking at YouTube.
Totally.
And everyone's looking at TikTok, and no one's paying attention to like the stepchild over here, Facebook. There's no competition.
Totally.
There's
Okay.
like absolutely no competition. And so I just started just repurposing stuff just to play around with it. And I just saw a huge amount of growth, because they are so hungry for content.
Right.
Because there's no
one else is hitting it.
no one's posting there.
And that's great too, because out of all this, we're still talking about business. And one thing a big business guy always says, Warren Buffett, is like, when everybody's selling, you're buying.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the mindset that you kind of took from there, right? Because everyone's just posting on TikTok. Everyone's doing the Instagram thing. But
It's saturated.
Right. And you see this opportunity here, and it made you blow up. I mean, you've already been blowing up, but it's just, continue to make that brand and grow. So that's pretty awesome. Just kind of putting together the business side, and it shows the business savvy that you are too. Even though everyone thinks it's the social media and all that, but
no, everyone wants the following, but they don't know what to do with this following. Right. Everyone has. Anyone could grow 1 million followers. I'm sorry, Evan. It's true.
No.
I'll tell you how. But like, anyone could trip over a bottle of milk on TikTok and grow 50,000 followers.
Dancing
overnight.
point.
Right.
Our dance or lip sync. The problem with that is that
Quantifying it.
They don't know how to convert that into money.
Right.
They're sitting on this gold mine because they accidentally, I'm not saying all of them, but some of them accidentally like grew a following overnight, and now they don't know what to do with it. So,
and that's what makes you so special, because my daughter, I think she made a video, and there was like over 200,000 something view on 50 something follower. But again, I can't compare it to you, because you're a businesswoman, and you know how to quantify that, converting from likes to subscriber, from subscriber to monetizing it to cash flow. That's right.
Totally.
So you say the hashtag, guys.
Shout out. That's a great point though, because I actually recently had a video that went viral, right? Like 30K views, but I always felt like it was such a waste, because I've gotten all these views, but I didn't have any lead magnets or any links to kind of keep that going, or somehow capture all this attention.
Yeah.
Right. So what was like that moment where you kind of knew, all right, I got to do something with the following that I'm starting to get?
Yeah, that's actually really important, because 10 years ago, and I would still say now, social media is like the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Actually,
I'm sorry, but should I cut in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't throw you out of the kitchen. You mess up, it'll taste the same.
Okay.
And we have another one just in case.
Sweet.
People watching this like, you're killing the fish.
Oh God.
But like, we were in the wild, wild west, and I still think we are. A lot of sponsors are really still uncomfortable. Let's cube it.
Cube it. Okay.
So
another line.
another line, and
okay.
and
Good
then
distance.
We'll do cubes.
Have you been to Poke?
Have you been to Hawaii?
I mean,
Come on, man.
I eat it, I don't make it, okay?
And so we always have something to prove, and the only thing we could prove is numbers, right? Like I'm very analytical.
Right.
And we as influencers have a job to make sure that these sponsors get what their ROI,
The exposure that they need, yeah.
And I always explain to them, it's not converting to sales, is we're branding you as a product that I use, that I'm comfortable with. And I would, by the way, I would never work with a company that I didn't use myself or believe in. And that's why I'll choose companies that are, ethical,
Right.
or
I'm so glad you're
just
doing that.
healthy.
Right.
But because that's what my followers know. So the only way you could do this is to build trust with the followers you have.
Right.
And how you build trust is by giving them quality content that like they could either learn from. Like I always want to make sure that there is a maybe educational standpoint to it. And if I can't do it, it's be humor. So something entertaining. And if I hit that mark, I could also brand myself as, I always try to brand myself as a entrepreneur, good mom, good wife, good daughter.
That's on
good,
brand, yeah.
Good dog owner, because I want people to relate to me as a person and not someone on social media with this like fourth wall that they don't know.
Right.
So if they know that if I ever run into mine, she's the kind of person that I can sit down and have a cup of coffee with. I want that relationship with my followers, that trust. And they've said this to me numerous times. So when they come see me and I walk by, they like, mine! Because they know I'm approachable. They know who I am. Instead of like, oh, should I approach that person? I really want a picture. So I really try really, really hard to be that person online intentionally to build that trust. And because I have that trust, it does convert to sales.
Right.
So anything that I do, for example, I went to Hawaii and I had this really bright sweater. And everyone's like, where was the sweater? Where was the sweater? So I linked it, and it was just from Target. And I definitely keep my followers in mind of their price ranges. So the clothes I choose are like, there's a balance.
Yeah.
So I linked it, and it sold out in 2 hours.
Wow.
Like all
I saw
of
that.
Target online. And
I was trying to get one
store.
too.
Were you for your wife or for yourself?
Myself.
Oh yeah, it's a nice colors.
They don't have size large, so I'm sold out.
I have it in my closet. You want to try
There
it?
you go. Oh, after the show.
No, but
So we have proof. We have proof that this works.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's the difference between like me with someone who has 1 million followers here and me with 1 million followers here is that the quality of my followers are their true fans. And the only way you develop fans is to develop a relationship with them.
Right.
And not just spewing out like just recipe after recipe after recipe.
Right, yeah, because people want to relate to you and, like you were saying, trust you, right? And that's kind of the key, because we're not just selling the product, but we're selling the trust and what comes with that product, right? The feeling, like Evan kind of talks about, it's not just the product, right?
You make people feel good, and I think that's number one commodity nowadays. Especially that's what they call a social currency. You have the social currency to your voice carries a lot of weight, and I think that's what makes you so special. Because I actually watch your stuff, and I went out and actually did some of the stuff that you were saying on the video, and that's the feel good. And I told Vin this on the way here, and I say, people nowadays, they have so much money, but it's all come down to what you make people feel good. Like I have friends have tons of Hermes bag, and I walk into his house, he was kicking them on the floor. Because that's when you're having so much item, become no longer that feel good anymore, and they go for something else. They're chasing for something else that makes them feel good, right? But your content, you are raw. When I watch your video, it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
It makes me, it's relatable.
I like this feedback. This is very intentional.
So that's what makes you special. And then you share about the story how you're very approachable. And like just exactly we're here. You have a fan that's been following you for over 10 years. And now we are in your kitchen cooking a meal together. Yeah. And this is a byproduct of who you are as a person. And that's what I like about you.
Yeah, I mean, he watched my girls grow up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
10 years.
Since 2013, y'all. So this is kind of a trip. But that's actually a great kind of segue, because I wanted to ask you that, you're talking about the strategic planning of partnerships, because that's how your brand is built and that's how you get these opportunities. But how do you balance that with so many eyeballs on you and trying to stay still you and authentic? and still continue to want to put yourself behind these brands and put yourself in front of all these people that can just come up to you and say hi? Like, how do you balance all that?
Well, it's a really hard balance of being like the mom part and the business part, because when you're flourishing on one end,
right,
like your business is growing, you're booming, there's like you're working 24/7, you're traveling, you feel like you're failing on this end. And when I put my business on the back burner and I'm focusing on my family, I have anxiety that I'm like not doing enough to this business. So the balance is really hard for, especially I think women in business as an owner, because we are the nurturer.
Right.
Our kids do want us to be like mommy, and like I do cook for them. I do, like, when I leave these trips, I Instacart and DoorDash all the stuff before I leave, because I still want to be part of, providing for them.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's you have to kind of start taking on more of a male role if you want to be. Oh, that's my rice cooker.
Hey.
I'm ready to eat. And my husband is very helpful on taking on more of the maternal role.
Yeah.
So he's the one who's, when they're sick, he'll buy the meds. He's the one who wakes up and takes them to school. He's the one who helps them with their homework. The only issue that I see of it, and I have to let go of some of this control, is that the days I do pick them up from school occasionally, they still call their dad.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we're sitting around the dinner table and they are talking to their dad about something and not like directly to him and not me,
right?
Because he knows that he's been part of that.
It's more involved,
Yeah. So, but then I'm still the fun mom. I'm still the fun TikTok mom that their friends want to come over and hang out with. So there's a balance. I'm the fun parent and he's the discipline.
Totally. Well, I mean, and I think that's important, because I think as you doing entrepreneurship, that comes with that, right?
Yeah.
The lack of being there, but you kind of also have to think like, hey, what am I doing it all for? What are we here for, right?
Yeah.
So, that's great for our followers to figure out, because it's not all sunshines and rainbows when you're cutting out and doing all this, when you're trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve.
What is that iceberg picture I always show people?
Oh, it's the tip of the iceberg. Yeah, the motivational thing, right? Yeah.
They see like, the lights and the camera, the trips, the free products.
What's underneath?
All the cool stuff, but they don't really see like 90% of just the hard pounding to the pavement, like sleepless nights, anxiety and stress, and like fumbling around and making a lot of mistakes to get to this point. So you can't get to this point without learning from mistakes. You can't get to this point without making mistakes.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. You have teenagers.
Yeah.
Right. So with teenager nowadays and how they perceiving all the social media, how do you kind of be a mom but also being a social media superstar? How do you communicate with your kids?
Actually TikTok has brought us closer, because TikTok is their culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like that's where they learn how to do their makeup, how to dress, all the trends, all the shows they should be watching, how their vernacular, everything is from TikTok. So ever since mommy went on TikTok, all of a sudden
Not just went
Mom's
on
cool,
TikTok,
man.
you blew up TikTok.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Mommy blew up on TikTok. So now, like, not only do we have something in common,
Right.
but it's also just like they understand more the business part when they see the development of videos, because they film their own stuff.
Right.
But for them to actually be home and see the process now, I think they have a greater appreciation for the work that I did before, instead of before, we're like, oh, mommy's just social media and Instagram. No. So
It brought me to my real life example. And I say today, this day and age, parenting is different from our parents' time. Back then, you have to sit at the dining table teaching them. A lot of time kids grow up and know nothing about their parents and what they do for a living. Yeah. But for us, for myself included, when I go out looking at a property or managing a property, I shoot video and I put it on social media, and my kids follow that, so they have better understanding of what I do on a daily basis. Yeah. So and for you too. So your parenting styles really, what you're doing on the daily, so they get to know you more, right? Not just come home at the dinner table and say, hey, what do you do today? No, I saw you on TikTok.
Other friends talk about me. I saw your mom in LA. You went to the Choice Awards. You went, they go to school and their teachers ask about me and their friends ask about me. So they're the cool kids with the cool mom.
I was gonna say, how do your kids deal with that?
Yeah.
Like, you're like,
Eat it up.
they eat it up. I was gonna say, because If it was me, I'd be like, you know who my mom is?
No,
Check TikTok, all right? Yeah,
Let me check TikTok. Oh,
I'm like getting a ticket from a cop. Like, let me show you my mom real quick.
that's cool. That's cool. So being influencer, there gotta be some perks.
Yeah.
That comes with all this. Tell us some of the things that make the audience jealous a little bit. So what are some of the things that you typically get offered?
Offered. Well, I mean,
Yeah, you were telling us about your cool kitchen.
this was gifted
Wow.
along with my fridge, which is Blue Star, and this is Elite, my dream stove.
This is like the Ferraris of stoves.
Hoods. So that was a nice perk.
And how did that come to happen? Like, how did it become a perk?
Well, I've always had Blue Star on my radar. Like, I always thought like that. I would love to have it. And they invited me to an event many years ago when they redid this kitchen in San Francisco, and I just went and just to take a look. Just a lot of it is networking, right? And introduce myself. And this is many years ago, and I've been on their radar for some time. And so when they found out I was buying a house, they reached out and we had a meeting. They're like, we've been wanting to work with you for years, and we just saw that you're remodeling your house, and like this is the perfect timing. So it's a great collaboration because they get a lot of exposure because they'll be in all my videos and this one.
Yep.
And
Shout out Blue Star.
So,
that's a brilliant investment. Just so you know, I'm also remodeling my house.
Yeah. So Blue Star, he's remodeling his house too.
I have 200 followers.
It will happen. So any partnership that I do, any collaboration, anything that's given, we all know nothing in life is free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for
So
sure.
I definitely want to give them the value that they, in return, that they gifted this to me, but I want to make sure they get the exposure too.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those influencers who will call a restaurant and say that I'm coming.
No, yeah.
I'm not
Yeah, I
gonna
see
do
that a lot, yeah.
So it's just, honestly, I'd rather just be left alone when I'm eating. But the thing is that I don't want to work for free. And I want to make sure that you guys are getting my personal opinion and not something that was free. So if you take me to a restaurant, I will still give you my real opinion on what the food's like.
Right.
But this is a great collaboration because I really believed in Blue Star.
Right. Well, that's the thing we love to talk about, partnerships, right?
Yeah.
You got to give to take and vice versa. I guess besides for this one, what's one of the partnerships that stood out to you so far, or what's one of your favorites that you're really proud about or happy about?
So many. It's been 10 years, so there's so many. I think one of my favorite partnerships right now is Disney.
Wow.
Because they're just a great company to work with, but they really involve my family. So we get to go through these once in a lifetime trips, and they treat us so well. And of course, the content we film goes crazy viral because we always have access to something that's before the public. Mm-hmm. So we got to go to like Avengers Campus. I don't know if you're a big Marvels fan.
I am.
But we are a huge Marvels fan, and they knew that. So before Avengers Campus opened, we were the first families to go in there.
That's so
That's
cool.
awesome.
And film the new panini sandwich and go review, like go all over
Yeah.
campus and got a tour. And that video went so viral because everyone was searching for it that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has like 50 million views.
Wow.
On across the board. And
Right.
That's how it's such a great partnership because I get early access to things that people are searching.
Yeah.
My following grows because I get like this viral video, and then my family enjoys the time at Disney. So it's a great partnership to have. Another one would be like Walmart. I love Walmart because I think they're just.
I think everybody likes Walmart.
I know.
Everybody goes to Walmart.
It's affordable. It's I love their you can order online, just pick up or delivery. But I did a holiday commercial for them in Arkansas. They're based in Arkansas, and there's so many partnerships. But those are the two that come top to mind of that one.
That's awesome. All right, so we've been yapping your ear off, talking about your journey, but we're also here to make some food. So
I'm hungry. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get going here.
So TV Magic, we already made this. I already made this. You guys actually saw how to make it, right? You were paying attention?
Right.
I
We're
think
learning.
so.
I'm a good student. I'm
So
trying to
let's
duplicate that.
You want to season your rice first.
Okay.
So we're
Season
going to do
rice.
a little bit of rice vinegar because this is short grain rice.
Correct.
Just a little bit, just to give it that tang.
I've always wanted to ask this, but what's the difference between like jasmine
You're
rice
good.
and like sushi grade rice, or are they the same?
Jasmine rice is a little bit longer, and you can see that these grains are a little bit thicker and fluffier, and that's what typically they use for like sushi rolls and stuff.
I see.
There's actually no thing to call like sushi rice unless they market it that way. It's just
see.
it's pretty much short grain rice.
I see.
That you're good. And then this is furikake. I can't pronounce it, but there you go. Someone can pronounce it right. So were you paying attention to how we were like
Mixing it up.
mixing? This is pretty much like Chipotle.
Okay.
Ah, nice.
So you add what you want, right? So
That's
I
my style.
added all the things. So right now we made the poke from, there is ponzu sauce, there is sesame oil, green onions, shallots, and sesame seeds. A very simple sauce because we want the salmon to stand out.
Yes.
Okay.
When
That's the
it's
start of the show.
Yeah, it's the star.
Is that a good amount?
That's up to you.
Okay.
Do you want more protein? I don't know.
I gotta get a little more. Okay, all right.
Gotta get those gains.
Gonna make
Yeah.
mine looks pretty. So, right.
This is on brand with you too, because I mean, I've been seeing a lot of your stuff, and it's like you want to eat real food, right?
Yeah.
And this is real as it gets right here.
And we eat with our eyes, so I always say, like, if you make it really colorful, you know, we want it to look as appetizing as possible. And there's a misconception that healthy food is not good. I mean, look at this. This is all fresh ingredients.
I like it so green.
Yeah.
And
And
we,
lots of healthy proteins in here.
we didn't have to turn on the stove once either. That's awesome.
I didn't allow them to come cook in my stove.
I wanted to turn
Blue
on
Star, we don't want to mess it up.
No amateurs on my stove
Jeez,
today.
I'm more amateur. Look at this. Just because I wanted to eat poke with a fork.
I wish we had that. Do you need a fork?
Yeah, let the record know that Evan asked for a fork for poke.
So I wanted to just like touch base on, I know a lot of people who are watching are in real estate and like, why are we having a food influencer on cash flows?
Right.
So of course I have 3 homes.
Yeah.
So the money that I make, I do like, I invest and I do believe in real estate. But I want everyone to know like how I make money as well. It's not just fluff.
Yeah.
Your
Really
cash
just-
flows. We
Right.
want to know about your
you're
cash
the
flow.
social media queen, but because you're also business,
Yeah.
you know, part of the business. So
So like getting down to the nitty gritty, like how do we actually make money? This is like a great time to make money online. There's like so many, and I'm pretty sure I haven't even hit all the marks of how to make money online because there's every day I find another like revenue
Avenue.
stream,
Right.
another way to make money, and now it just comes down to time. Which one will give like, me the more bang for my buck because there's only one of me,
Right.
But with just an example of how I would like make one source of income and make it like multiply is for a video, for example. I know like people see the end product of this fun, quirky recipe video and it looks like really simple, but there's actually a lot of thought process behind. Be careful. We don't want it.
yeah. Oh gosh.
Are we getting this?
Yeah, we're getting it.
See, you offer. It's not ready. Let the chef do it.
So I know people do that a lot, but like it makes me nervous.
There you
So
go.
put it down. Oh, okay. Twist it. I forgot the twist.
Saved us an accident on camera.
Yeah, we don't want blood on our poke.
That's
Here's
extra.
the cutting board.
Yep.
Okay.
So for an example, like I get paid for my videos. Like if we were to do a sponsored post, let's say for an example, I got a sponsored post and we got X amount of dollars for the sponsored post. I take that sponsored post, I still get paid on views. So I will cut it down to for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So TikTok pays in multiple ways. TikTok pays in their creator fund,
Right.
which you get paid on the amount of views. But now they have something that's called Pulse. I don't know if you ever heard of Pulse, but
Like my polls?
it's still on a Pulse. I'm gonna say it doesn't pay that well, but it just started. So anything new.
Now I get excited when I see more money coming in. So that's,
Yeah,
I
any
get
revenue stream. So you get paid with Pulse, which is ad revenue. It's shared
Yeah,
shared
okay.
ad shared ad revenue. So now you're sharing money from ads from TikTok. So that's 2 ways to get paid on top of the sponsor post. So now we're counting 3, right? And then I take that video and I post it on Instagram where there is part of the sponsor, like Instagram
Right.
and TikTok. And then we take that video and we put it on YouTube, right? So YouTube is great because you already know we had ad revenue there from the videos, but then there's the linking of all the products that we get affiliate links that we get paid on the affiliate side. Okay.
Now, did you just do that, or you have to reach out to them, let them know you're gonna be doing that?
Well, it's my video. So, I mean, of course they would want me to link their product and I
Correct.
get paid on the affiliate side too. Like, why would they say no to that?
Of
right?
course.
But that's my choice. And then on top of that, we move it over to Facebook. Well, and Facebook is actually my new favorite thing I was telling
Social
you
platform.
about. And not a lot of people know that Facebook has a great program right now where they pay you to post videos. So I'm part of a bonus program
Yeah.
where on the reel side, I get up to $10,000 per month just to post reels.
Yeah, they're really pushing out reels right now because it's new.
And I see that little star thing too, that people can give you money.
And
Tell us about that.
That people who really like you will, gift you money in the stars and too. So that's another revenue stream. And then on that reel itself, you have ad revenue. So not only are you getting paid on the bonus side, you actually get ad money on the reels. So there's that. So, and then I take that same video and I put it on the feed. So there's a difference between the feed and
the reels.
And so
The feed is your page, your wall.
it's all the same. It's all going to
Okay.
the same place, but I treat reels very differently because there's so much. They're pushing it so much, so you get
Right.
a little bit more exposure on that. And then I would take that video and I put it on the feed, which I also monetize with ads. So that video is now getting ad revenue as well.
That's amazing.
And then that video.
Same video. We're still talking about the same
We're
video.
talking about the same video
Like
here.
this one right here.
And that same video is also part of the performance bonus, which I get, which is part of Facebook's too. So that same video is getting paid 6 times on just Facebook. Just Facebook. When
Yeah.
you count the sponsor, you're counting the ad revenue on both ends. You're counting both performances and the stars.
Wow.
Just on one.
Wow.
That's what you call cash flow.
Okay, this is cash flow, guys. So
Yeah.
when you buy a real estate, you get rental income, whether through short term or long term.
Yeah.
But here you are creating multiple cash flow revenues just from one video and to different competitors, right?
Yes.
Wow. And you can chop up the video in different forms, short form, long forms, in different ways.
That's what I do, yeah.
Wow.
And we haven't even done. We're not even done.
We're still going.
Yeah,
So
what's
we-
up?
We take that video and you put it onto your website.
Okay.
That's right.
And then everyone goes to your website and then you have something like Mediavine and you're getting advertisement on your Mediavine for your blog or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you write up this recipe and you add links like we were making a poke with ponzu sauce,
Yeah.
or like my cutting board, or my hexcad pans,
The blue star behind
Blue Star,
us.
and we link those in the links of where they could buy them, like all these ingredients, all the pans, all the sauces, and those are affiliate links. So those are trickled in there too. So you're just bouncing from one place to another with just one recipe, one video,
Right.
and getting like 10 to 12 sources of income for one.
Wow.
That's impressive.
So this is kind of a question that I'm trying to figure out. Like, it's kind of a chicken and egg question, but did you start figuring out who you wanted to use, like as far as your the people that you're advertising, meaning like the products?
Oh, yeah.
You know, did you reach out to them first, or is this where you're building your following, you're using their products, and then you're using that to show these products, hey, this is the value that I'm bringing in, and then that's how you start to get paid?
That's a good question. I think a lot of creators, when they first start off, they're doing a lot of fishing.
Yes.
You know, they're in the DMs.
Right,
You know, they're
exactly.
Like, hey, you know, I would love, they're like, I work
Let's partner
with
up.
this, let's partner up, let's collab. And it's really smart because, that's how you got your name out there. But the one thing that people don't know is that the people who are managing these social media pages are mainly interns.
Right.
You know.
The top up don't see that.
Yeah, if you reach out to like someone like even me,
Right.
I don't manage all my social media
Right.
pages. Or
There's
my
too many.
emails,
There's too
right?
much.
So you're probably getting an assistant or an intern who doesn't really
Pay attention to that
hold
stuff.
any
Yeah.
power to the collaboration. So the smartest thing to do is find their LinkedIn and like build a relationship there.
There you go.
And the second thing you could do is, if you really like a product, to start using it in your video, start mentioning it, start like, if you really want that collaboration,
Right.
because then it's organic, authentic. And my sister-in-law, Christy, actually landed a huge contract with Couple Noodles because she had a viral video with Couple Noodles.
Wow.
And so she has like this 3-month long contract with them because they saw the video.
Yeah.
So if it's organic to you and your content, that's how these new creators will start, getting their business, like building their sponsors. But for me, it's been 10 years. And so it's been 10 years. So my inbox is definitely full of sponsors who want to work with me. And because I'm so experienced, and there's new creators and then there's the OG creators. So we know the system, right? We know like the Zoom call, the meetings, the concepts, the briefs. We send in our content, and then there's a review process. Like, we know how to do it very professionally and clean, and we know our analytics.
Yeah.
And with a new creator, there's like a lot of hand holding.
Right.
And like they don't know all these steps, and they know what they're getting between the two. And I think the reason why they keep coming back to me is just they just know how I work. So that's why we continue to get so much business, even though we're in the middle of a recession. I say that I'm recession proof.
Right.
And my business model has changed. Because I told you all these revenue streams. I call these sponsor posts, they're amazing. They are amazing for new creators to make a lot of money really fast. But for me now, they've become low-hanging fruit. Because it could be an X amount of dollars. Let's say it's $30,000, $40,000, or $50,000. It seems like, wow, it is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but imagine you spending these days creating content for another company.
Yeah.
You're still just working for somebody else at the end of the day.
Exactly. You're not your own boss.
Right.
And imagine if you take that time, do less sponsored work, and create your own content to build your brand bigger and bigger and bigger. So when you had your own product, you can make tens of millions of dollars instead of $30,000 to $40,000 in these videos. So I want to get to a point where my videos are making $30,000 to $40,000 each video, and not working for someone else. And the brands that I do work with, it's the brands that I love and I want to work with.
Right.
So, and that's where my transition right now is that we're trying to grow our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel, because that is where the power comes back to me, because I'm in control of how much money I make.
Right.
But I think TikTok and Instagram will soon follow, because they cannot not follow this way of for us to create money, because they'll lose us. Right? Like we're their bread and butter. So if everyone's going to YouTube and Facebook because they're monetizing, TikTok and Instagram definitely has to step up.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pay you guys for getting all these views.
Pay to play.
Exactly. Nice. Well, I mean, all that got me hungry.
I think you guys did a really good job. Let's show them what they're like. Look, you guys did such a good job in your bowls.
Look at this.
I think you're just being nice.
Mine's a little bit messy. She's modest, but
a beautiful bowls. Like,
very colorful.
Very colorful. Give him some avocado, Evan. Don't be stingy.
Oh, come on, bro. I know avocado's extra, but But while you were talking, I can't help but relate it to what we try to do as well. Like how you were saying that you reach out on LinkedIn. Come on, brother. Jesus.
You want a fork or a chopstick?
I'm going to die with that.
I'll hook you up with some chopsticks.
Yeah. But it's kind of what we do too, and what we try to tell people on our show all the time when they're first starting out, when we're looking for deals. It's like, network. Talk to these people first. Provide value, not just kind of ask, but show them what value you can provide as you're networking, and then the deals kind of start coming to you anyways.
Yeah, because it's about relationships. Like I think a big part of real estate is relationships.
It totally is.
Out of all the homes that I've bought, all the years that I've bought and sold, I've stuck with one realtor because I think that she hits it out of the park every single time. And even though we're struggling because of this market, this is the first time we've struggled with selling a property because of the market.
Right.
But even then, like her professionalism and how personal she is, how on top of the information she is, like explaining to me everything that happens in the market. The rates went up, this and this. The house next door sold for less. We need to like
Do something.
Like, I need you to know all this information to
Right.
make a rational decision.
Shout out to your realtor.
Jill.
It's a plug.
Jill. Great realtor. So we've been
That's
working
awesome.
with her for many years, and I consider her a good friend now. And that's like when you build that relationship.
Right.
Like, why would I go with anyone else?
Yep.
Because she knows my kids, she knows my husband, she knows my parents, you know.
Right.
And that's, I think, the big core thing of any business is relationships.
And like how you multiple cash flows from one video, it's the same thing for us realtors. We'll do multiple income streams just from one client, from having to buy and then sell their property, and then helping them maybe rent it out when they need to rent it out if they don't sell that property, things like that, right? So yeah, I just can't help but to relate to all the things you're talking about.
But your career coming in a full circle. You're starting out in mortgage industry, became a social media queen, right? And then now circle back becoming a real estate investor again.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what this all about. We're creating these podcasts, telling people, and it's not about real estate, it's everything you do that from, generating cash flow from social media, whatever you're doing watching this video, and you're thinking that, hey, I don't want to, real estate is not my thing, but at the end of the day, it's something tangible, right?
Yeah.
Something that you can convert all your cash flow into something that, a legacy for yourself later on, right?
Yeah, I learned a long time ago that women are very emotional people, and they don't take risk in business. So I don't want to be sexist, but like a lot of men take a lot of risk. Like it's almost like gambling, and we're emotionally attached to things. Like I was very emotional attached to my house, but I knew that I had to sell it. It's like so I had to like let that part go.
Yeah.
But also there is this generation that I'm stuck in where I'm a first generation immigrant. So, our parents are like mattress money people. They don't believe in investing. They don't believe in they just believe in like putting your money in saving while that money is depreciating.
Yep.
Correct.
Right. And they don't believe in
Risk.
because not because they don't want to make money, but it's just so much easier to make money when you have money and the risk is so low.
We had this conversation with Thatch Nguyen, and he talked about a very similar mindset. Us coming over, or the generation that came over here, having like a limited mindset, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, they have that mattress money, and they don't want to use that to try to make more money. Like for example, my mom, we got all this equity in their homes that they've got. And I'm like, Mom, this is the time to pull that equity out and make more money. But she's like, I don't want a payment. I don't want any of this. And I totally get that. And she wants to feel secure. But I'm like part of this new generation where you're like, you have to take risks. If you want the reward, you have to do the risk, right?
And that's probably right move for your mom, because she's at the age where she's done with the hustling.
Right. She's
now
tired.
she needs to be more, peace of mind with her investment, right? So, but we're at the age where we still continue to invest and build that portfolio over time. So one day you can keep everything active and then slow down your active job and then focus on the passive.
Yeah.
And then for you right now is growing, right?
Yeah. I do want to point out one thing, because it's like, I think that we need to be very cognizant of like our situation in life where it's easier for us to invest, right?
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, if you would have said like,
True.
throw all the money, like $30,000 to buy this house, right? That's all the money I have.
Right.
But imagine for us, like, well, if it feels like it's not going to affect me, but if that's all the money that you have, it's really hard to take that risk.
That's true.
And that's why a lot of people who are in that situation don't grow, not because they don't want to, is they're not able to take the risk like we are.
Right.
Because 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we have to, I think I'm always
Acknowledge.
aware that like we are at a point in our lives that we can take those risks.
True that.
And lose that 30,000 and we will go on with our day. Yeah, that will really suck, right? But it will not affect my lifestyle, will not affect putting food on the table or paying rent. And I think that's the difference. But when I started investing, I wanted to pretend that I was rich. if I was rich,
That's the
what
mindset.
choice would I make now? If there was the consequence of losing this money, would it still be okay? So I was investing in a lot of things, Bitcoin, you know, all the things and property.
I'm sure that's relatable.
High risk, you know, high reward, and then, you know, when it tanked, right?
Right.
And then it came back, but I still continued to invest because I was not emotionally attached to the money anymore. So I was able to grow a lot of money really fast because it was just like, hey,
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, like you throw in $1,000, you make $1,000, right? But if you throw in $30,000, you make another $30,000. That's a lot of money. So I was throwing a lot of money at it, thinking that I was going to grow. But that's another topic. But like
Right.
that's just more. The higher the risk, the more reward. But then
Was that the kind of mindset that you had when you were talking about earlier, when you and your husband both lost your jobs,
Yeah.
and you're trying to figure out like what are we gonna do, and you know you got that $1,500 loan from your mom.
which I never paid back, by the way.
That's the beauty of moms sometimes, right? If I had to pay back a lot of loans to my mom, I'll be broke. But in any case, what was that mindset like at that moment when you're like, dude, I need to get this money to
Yeah.
to kind of risk and invest for the future?
I think that was an interesting time because I had nothing to lose. So like you're like already on the bottom. You know, it's like what else can you do? What else can I lose? So there was no way but to go up. And the only thing that I knew about social media at the time, because it was the Wild Wild West, is that if you have an audience and you have a product, it's a free advertisement. So I was like, let's create it, grow this audience, and develop a product to sell them. That's
Super savvy.
only thing I had in mind. There's no mentor. There's no other person that was doing what I was doing now to learn from. So I created an ebook, a recipe diet book.
Yep.
Still had no idea what I was doing. Sold it for $39.95. And it's funny, it's my dad, the day before the book release, he said, you should go into real estate. Because he had no faith in me. Because no one knew what social media was and the potential.
Yeah.
So he was worried about me spending a whole year creating this social media page and then developing this cookbook. Like, what are we? I linked it to my PayPal, just posted a picture of it on my social media, and the sales were just like ding,
Coming in.
ding,
Nice.
ding. And this was before I knew how to sell anything. It was just posting it on Instagram, but it was just like ding, 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 and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I think I made $8,000 the first day.
Wow.
And mind you, we were dirt poor.
Yeah.
Like, I was living with my parents, no money, really in debt. And to see this money coming in, I just couldn't believe that, like, I spent, 6 months developing this page and then 6 months writing this book, and this is going to sell forever. This is going to be its cash flow forever. That's what I really liked. My husband quit his job, I think, a month or two later, just because of just that book.
Oh, wow.
Living off the sale of the book. And then I signed with a company, a management company that like started getting me the sponsored stuff.
Nice.
And made a lot of mistakes with them, but I did learn a lot from them too. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like, there was just no way but up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There was no way but up. Even making $1,000 would have been like, I did it. I made it,
That's awesome.
But at that time, did you feel like that is the right path for you? That was then there?
No, there really wasn't like
Or
no
still some
map.
doubts?
There
There's
was
still
no
some doubts.
map.
Yeah, this is what I was gonna say, because a lot of times people get so afraid to start because they don't know the end goal.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't need to know the end goal. You just gotta start and do things, and then it'll come up, right?
It's like gambling. There's this risk about investing all this time. I wasn't investing money. I was investing my time.
For sure.
And I was working 40 hours a week for pretty much free for a year developing this business. These new creators now, they have this roadmap, right? They know like you have followers, you'll get sponsors, you have this, you make ad revenue. Before it was just like me going in blind. But I actually really appreciate like having that struggle of figuring out myself.
Yeah.
Because it's actually just made me a better creator and also a better businesswoman.
And more original too, right? Because a lot of people kind of follow this game plan, and you don't really stick out too much, and the opportunities won't come as much as well, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Should we continue eating? Or
What did you think of the pocket?
I loved it.
I think it's great.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
But today, since St. Patrick's Day, we should have some green matcha IPA. What do you say?
Cheers. To the
Let's
IPA.
go. Cheers.
Yeah.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Oh man, you guys.
Have you drank on camera before?
I actually did a video drinking on camera to show people why I don't drink on camera.
Oh,
And so we did a time lapse.
Here's what not to do.
So we'll
on
remind
camera.
you.
I was like, yeah, my face turned red and da. But like, cheers to St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St.
Yes.
Patrick's Day.
And talking about cash flow.
Having the cash flow bros.
Yep.
Flow
Having
bros.
the cash flow bros in my kitchen eating poke.
In your kitchen.
Awesome.
Ooh.
Wow, you guys got me on camera drinking.
Your story definitely inspires a lot of people.
Yeah,
And
super
like
relatable
yourself,
too.
I started in the mortgage industry back in the early 2000s as well. I worked for a company called Countrywide. So,
Countrywide.
yes,
Oh, I work for Countrywide.
I worked for
Shut
Countrywide,
up.
Country Valley. Country Valley.
Shut up.
Yeah, so
I was Countrywide. I was in Campbell.
Okay.
Oh.
So you're in San Jose area. I was in the Bay Area. So I was in the Catcher Valley, and we started a new office in Alameda.
Ah.
But I joke when I say we're the reason that we went belly up, because at that time, that's all you sell is subprime loans. And Countrywide is the known company for that. And I actually stayed with Countrywide all the way to when they got sold to like IndyMac and then the Bank of America. And there was one week I was a government employee because
they took over.
They took over
It's
IndyMac.
over. Yeah.
Yeah. So Fannie Mac took over IndyMac. So yeah, just went through that whole journey of switching and
Yeah, I'm having some flashbacks.
yeah.
Like everything you're
Do you
saying.
remember that? There's one week that
Crazy
you
time.
turn on the computer and this company out of business, this company out of business, and next thing you know, like, oh, we work for IndyMac now. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
And then all of a sudden,
I
all
guess.
the audits, everyone was coming in, opening up boxes and looking at all the audits. Like, what?
I
What kind of
remember,
investigation?
yes. I remember one day I showed up to the office, and I normally come to the office with my backpack and a
Yeah.
laptop, and they say, you can leave your backpack and your laptop, and we'll contact you in a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was the day that
Crazy
they
time.
came in, they took paper out of the shredder and all that stuff, and you
Crazy
just take a look at everything.
Well, it kind of feels like it's happening all over again a little bit. I mean, similar to that was like Silicon Valley
the banking
Bank,
situation,
but
yeah.
at the same time, you also have your own kind of issues too, right? We were just talking about the issues with TikTok.
TikTok might be banned.
Might be banned,
Yeah.
and you were talking about how recession-proof your business is.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you try to stay agile and still make money with all the volatility that is going on or can go on after?
Yeah, it's insane this time. Like I said, like with TikTok being potentially banned because China, I don't know how they're gonna prove it. I would say it's a 50-50 chance that TikTok's gonna be banned, and this is why I tell all my clients, everyone that I consult, every time I speak to a panel, is that don't put all your eggs in one basket. You need to diversify. So I have a strong following in each social media platform, but there'll be another one.
Right.
It's an
always something new.
opportunity. If TikTok's banned, everyone's gonna jump on YouTube Shorts,
Right.
Because it's just the next
New
thing
thing.
that's very close to
Yeah.
TikTok. There's other platforms that probably pop up, and go save your name on that because you don't want to miss out on that opportunity. But I would say that because I am such a seasoned creator,
Right.
I know that money allocated for TikTok has to be dispersed somewhere else.
Right.
So if you're only a TikTok creator, you're missing out because those millions of dollars, those advertising dollars, will now have to be moved to Facebook, to YouTube, to Instagram,
Right.
And not to say that I'm going to benefit from TikTok being banned, but there's a lot of creators who are only on TikTok who I am competing against for these sponsorships,
Right.
for these opportunities. And if they don't
Diversify.
and they're not established anywhere else, a lot of my competition is gone.
Right.
And I'm not trying to honestly, I do not want it to happen because I do not want anyone to lose their jobs or their bread and butter. But this is why I say diversify. But this is why I'm not scared. Like we had this conversation yesterday in the car with my husband. He's like, I heard the TikTok is being banned. Are you okay? I'm like, I am fine. I'm literally fine. That money has to be advertised everywhere. Walmart will still have a holiday campaign.
True.
Now they're not going to put that money in TikTok. So
Right.
those millions are going to go over to YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And guess what? I'm very established there. So I'm actually not concerned The only thing I will be sad about is that I use TikTok for exposure.
Yeah.
So TikTok has this virality that like Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook has not been able to duplicate.
Yeah.
Like, so with TikTok, if you had a business and you had one really good video, it will change the whole trajectory of your business. I have a cookbook coming out next year. One viral video will probably get me to a bestseller.
Wow.
Like if it really, because I actually seen a video of a daughter posting about her father working on a cookbook not cookbook, but a book for 6 years, and no one's buying it. And overnight, that video has 10 million views and 24,000 copies sold.
I see that all the time. Some
amazing.
kid sees a struggling restaurant,
Yeah.
they'll film it and say, hey, come to this restaurant. They're actually really great. And then overnight, there's lines around the block just for that.
That's what the power of TikTok is. And TikTok is a culture itself. It really sets everything, and everything else follows. So I love TikTok for that. I actually love TikTok just for the entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one who scrolls just to watch.
I learned a lot on TikTok too, actually.
I just learned I had a sleeping disorder last night.
Really?
Like I literally learned I had a sleeping disorder last night. I forgot the name of it, but it's the people who fall asleep, who go to sleep around 1 or 2 and wake up at 10 because their internal clock is different.
Your circadian clock. Yes.
And I was like, I thought I was just lazy.
No, it's just your
Now
body clock.
I've been self-diagnosed by TikTok.
Oh, no.
It's 10
Yeah.
a.m.
Great
and
excuse.
Yeah,
Maya's like, can you
told
give
you
me my
guys.
latte? I'm like, it's 10 a.m.
I know. You guys got my latte at 9:30 for
Hey,
yeah,
anything-
thank you,
anything for you, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I've learned so much from just the TikTok videos. But when it's banned, it will be interesting where the chips fall. Well, who picks up the pieces?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
someone will benefit from that.
Well, it says a lot too, because you're saying you're not too scared if that happens with TikTok. And this is coming from someone with more than 4 million views. I mean, followers on TikTok.
Half my following. is
Half
on
your
TikTok.
following, but you're just like, it's all good because you're diversified.
Well, also the way TikTok works, if you really kind of do a nosedive, your followers, your followers and number, like the way TikTok works, the followers don't really matter. That is very psychological when you see like 4.5 million, right? It's more
It's vanity, right?
It's vanity metrics.
Right.
Because when you go on TikTok, are you watching your following or your For You page?
Right.
Right.
It's for you. Yeah.
It's your For You page. So followers actually, the follower count does not matter. It's the view count. So I go off my average amount of views. That's how we package it. That's how we sell to our sponsors. And that's how much we're able to charge because my view count's really high.
Right.
And the reason why is that I'm very strategic and I'm creating content that goes viral. But I know 20 million views, I don't have 20 million followers. Like I know that's just being dispersed to like
Random people.
Yeah.
So the quality of followers actually diminishes on TikTok because they have not been following you.
It's like no loyalty.
There's no
Yeah.
loyalty. There's no brand awareness.
Right.
And I think brands are starting to pick up on that as well. That's why I say that I use TikTok as just my PR, as to get my name out, as to people get to recognize me. And of course, my sponsors are there. But like, if I were ever to have like a brand, a product that we're actually working on a product right now, I think my sales will really come from Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and maybe a little from TikTok if they're still around. But like, just to be cognizant of that TikTok is not a place where you brand yourself.
Right.
Unless there's there is always exceptions to the rule, like someone like Charlie D'Amelio, someone like Keith Lee.
Right.
There are exceptions to the rule, but for the average person, you know that your following is not watching your video, it's actually just random users.
All right, so for someone that just tuned in or missed the whole thing or skipping to this part, let's just say if you can give this long video a summary of, creating a cash flow through your social media.
Of this
Can
video.
you give us a few
Golden
nuggets?
nuggets.
Golden nuggets.
Yes.
Of how to cash flow the video that we filmed today.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not very familiar with podcasting.
Right.
But so originally we were filming this for a podcast. This is all going to be spliced and diced. So that's your one revenue stream for now is your podcast,
Okay.
right? And you're being very smart that you're filming the podcast.
Right.
So now we have something visual because video is king right now.
Right.
So you're filming one long video for 1 hour, and you're going to put it on Facebook, on YouTube. You might even cut it into 2 to 3 videos because why not? You have the content for it.
Different episode.
And the longer, I think the magic number for YouTube is what, 13 minutes to
Yeah.
do all the
12, 13 minutes.
12, 13 minutes. I think you have enough footage for that. And then you splice it up on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook on your short form video on your vertical. And
Yeah.
then you do little sound bites of like little things. And then you do your stories of introducing it with your links. So here's the like intro of, hi, I'm with My Healthy Dish. We're making poke bowls. Here's the link. And you link it to all the videos that
Yeah.
you're dispersing. Right, and then like we said, we put all the affiliates, we put all the sponsors,
Like everybody.
you get all the ad revenue,
Right.
and whatever products you want to mention. Do you have a master class about your real estate handbook?
Yeah.
Or even like throw in what property you're selling right now. Throw that in there too.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, before we kind of cut out too, you have some social media consulting business that you're launching
Yeah.
and doing now.
So I speak a lot. Right? So a lot of people who follow me don't realize that I'm actually a speaker. And like I speak at VidCon, I do guest speaking. I just did the Asian Hustle Network. The
Nice.
keynote.
Sound like with Brian.
Yeah, and I speak more on the business end of developing your brand, but on just one thing that people want to know is how to grow.
Yeah.
Right? How do I grow? I think Evan, like, how do I grow? How do I grow? How do I
I
get
keep
to 100,000?
messaging her and it's
I'm
like-
like, I'm too busy. Can't talk to you right now.
Yeah, this is content you got to pay for right here.
So I do a lot of consulting with my friends and family because I want all my friends and family to succeed. Krislin's here. I'm mentoring her right now. But one of the first people that I mentored, her name's Patricia, and I changed her hair page. She just did her hair actually. She did change her hair page from Patricia, blah, 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 like her last name I couldn't even pronounce, that I couldn't even search. And I said, what do you do? She said, well, I do like highlights, but like really thick panels. It's still a little different than like thin highlights. It's like really thick panels that I use a brush for. I'm like, so you paint hair? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, why don't you just change it to painted hair?
There you go.
So
it
because
short.
people search for you and they'll know exactly what you do. They don't need to know what Patricia does. Like they will know exactly what you do, and it's easy to find. And then I just showed her how to create content better and how to grow her Instagram and like do like before and after transitions, because that's what people really love with hair, right? The ugly before and like the magic after,
Right.
that gives her authority. So she's been growing her business. It's exploded. She's had numerous contracts. She has shops and she has a master class, and she trains people to do hair now.
That's awesome.
My sister-in-law, same thing. She wanted to do cooking. Her name is Christy Cooks. We came up with that name because like Christy, we want your name in it, just like My Healthy Dish. We wanted my name in it, and then we wanted to make sure that people knew you cooked. So I think she's at 150,000 on Instagram right now
Wow.
after a year. And
That's so cool.
Almost 300,000 on TikTok, and I think she's passed 100,000 on Facebook recently.
Wow,
Heck yeah.
congratulations.
Heck yeah.
So she's making multiple streams of income. I told her to quit her job, but she's a little scared. She doesn't want to take that risk. But she's making more money on the social media side now than her full-time business.
That's impressive.
And then we have my friend, the Taste Bud, who I brought him to Disney World, and I just showed him like the ways of it. So I consult a lot of my friends, but on like a big scale, I do a lot of panels. I do a lot of Zooms. I actually train. I train a lot of people on YouTube, so me and YouTube will get together and we'll have all these new creators come on board, and we'll give them like the beginners
Course.
course of like how to start, how to monetize, what all the things you need to look for, all the legal terminology, and I work closely with even the Disney team where we'll bring on new people and new creators and stuff. So like I said, I do a lot of that because I wish I had someone when I first started
Yeah.
to talk to.
Yeah, and this is the perfect reason why we brought you along, because a lot of our audience, like the guy behind the camera, John, are young entrepreneurs trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Try to see where it goes, maybe not knowing where the end goal is at, but learning, growing, and taking it from there.
And John is doing really well for himself. So now you just got to change from Focus Media to John Media now. JohnMedia.tv.
Well, it's more like because you want to be a brand. You're not I wanted to be a brand household name. So I wanted to make sure my name was in there. So it's my. But like if you really wanted to do like a nosedive on how to grow on specifically each channel, that would take like, when you tell, how do I do it? I'm like, that would take like an hour just to talk about stories. Like how do I develop a story?
Right.
How to hook people. So like, for example, if we were to introduce this today, you saw that I pulled the camera out and I introduced an intro.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing today, da, 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 da. And then the whole day is the meat of the story, like explaining what we're doing. And then at the end, we wrap it up because they don't call it stories for a reason, right?
Got you.
You have to tell
a story. And people love stories.
Yeah, because then they'll actually hang on to the very end. And this is how you like brand yourself, because they're watching like this mini documentary every day of your life.
Right.
Right? Not just like, how do you make everyday life interesting? So I don't know if you know Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone knows Winnie the Pooh.
His thing is like, there is just beauty in doing nothing.
Yeah.
Can you make nothing seem interesting every day?
No.
Wow.
That's a challenge.
That's
right?
a big challenge.
Right? Me in my kitchen every day, we're doing the same thing, the monotonous of life. Can you create this monotony of life and make it interesting every day in a story that the viewer who's watching can relate to you? Right? Who's at home like, she's picking up her kids at school and she is like looking like a hot mess. That's me. Right? Or, like all those things. So I try to think of that as my dogs are, and my husband's like tiptoeing. Go ahead, babe. We can edit you out. Just keep on going.
Thanks, Arlen.
No, we're keeping this in. Keep all this in.
And Charlie. So I try to keep it interesting every day. And then because it's a machine that I'm feeding every day, we have to log off.
Right.
There's so much content. There's stories, there's videos, there's long form, short form. 4 social media channels we're balancing. There's DMs, emails, comments. How do you without going insane, right? And then develop content in the middle of all that.
Right.
So there has to be a time where we stop feeding this machine and recharge. So on the weekends, sometimes you won't see me on stories. You won't see me on posts. And I actually have to set boundaries with my friends because sometimes they want to come,
right,
and they want to film. They we're going to dinner,
right?
We're going to dinner and they want to film, and it's just sometimes
clout chasing.
I wouldn't say clout chasing. It's like if I was in their shoes, I would want to do it too.
Yeah, it's understandable.
But if I don't explain the reasoning why I want a quiet dinner,
right,
and they don't understand, like, well, you go to dinner and you shoot. Like, well,
you turn it off.
but that's what you see. But you don't see the 90% of the time I don't shoot.
Right.
Yeah,
so you only see Mai's at dinner and she's at this restaurant. She's filming. So I do have to set boundaries with everyone, my family and my friends, that when I'm off, I'm off.
Gotcha.
Because then you're always feeding this machine. Always.
That's true.
Right.
So with my hack with stories, I just want to go back to how you said, how do I get more engagement? Like, let's just start with stories. Imagine you're introing your day, you're starting off, and you notice how your first views are always higher, and then they kind of trickle down.
They drop off, yeah.
Imagine you're pushing a swing.
Yep.
Right, so you do 3 to 5 frames, and they watch, and you wait a couple hours, and you give another push. Do another 3 to 5 frames, and then they watch, and then these will just keep on pushing those views out, right? Just keep on pushing. And why is that important? Because you actually are now growing a really high view count for your analytics to package, for me, to sell to sponsors, right? Because I want my view counts in the hundreds of thousands. So I constantly push this 3 to 4 frames, and I always want to make sure that the first frame is the most interesting.
Right.
So you want the most text so people pause and read, because the AI is definitely picking up on is this video interesting enough to show to everyone else.
Yeah.
Right.
So how does that translate? Well, I paused the video because I want to see what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Right.
That's telling the AI.
So they study that.
So they study that. So you'll notice my intros are usually me, selfie mode, explaining something with a lot of text.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know what's happening. I want visually stunning, or a really crazy picture. Like if something was spilt on the floor, right? You want that to be your intro.
A scenes.
Something to set up
Yeah.
with people. It's your hook.
Yep.
Right.
Just like
right.
any video.
That makes sense.
Your first story needs to be the hook, and it dictates the views for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And then you just give that little push every 3 to 4 hours, 3 to 5 frames. And that will just continue getting the stories out and out and out and out. And that's why once I start, I can't stop. That's why on weekends, if I start, I'm like, I'm not going to stop. So I don't.
Makes sense.
Does
So
that make
yours
sense?
is always a sequence of things, and I saw that you start your intro at the end,
Oh,
and then
yes.
you worked it backward.
Yeah, because it's the most visually stunning.
Correct.
So if I say, hey, today we're making poke, if you watch any YouTube videos, and I'll critique you guys when you edit this, it's like, hey guys, da 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 da. I don't think we should start the video like that. It should have been something like you asking for a fork, and then jumping into that, because we want that, like, what's
What?
so interesting about this video,
Yeah.
Right.
So I never actually start my YouTube videos like, hey guys, it's Mai from My Health Edition. You notice like
Right.
when I said hey guys, I deleted that right away.
Right.
Watch all your YouTube videos that are so boring. Hey guys,
Yeah.
hey guys.
Yeah, totally.
I challenge anyone who's doing a selfie video on their stories to not start with hey guys.
Hey, gals.
Or even just
Thank you for being inclusive. But that's like a problem, that it gets so generic.
right.
Just
I got you.
get right off the bat, start.
makes total
so
sense.
when we did the poke, we started with the most beautiful backdrop.
Finished product.
Finished product. Today we're making this,
And
right?
we're eating with a chopstick.
And we're eating with a chopstick. And then we go into the steps. And because it's a video that loops, you'll get it again and again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So explain to me, like, how do you utilize social media
Right.
to build your business as realtors? What realtors use social media for? Because I have ideas,
Right.
but I would love to know, like, how do you utilize social media to build your business and gain clients and make money?
Right.
You want to go with that? You want to start?
Sure. So for me, it's been in business for close to 20 years now.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know what I'm doing, right? But people don't know what I do. So for me to tell in the camera and show them my stories of what I do, you know, starting from let's say, for example, from listing a house to getting it sold with multiple offers, I'm sharing them the journey, taking them on the journey of how to sell a house. And get a great price, and behind the scenes, everything I do. At the end of the day, it's also give me credit of, you know, how I do it compared to other real estate agents. Like you mentioned, you have a great real estate agent, but how is she so great, right? She, right?
She, yeah.
Yeah, so how is she so great? So I think social media enable us, give us a platform that we can share the things that we do behind the scenes, right? And having this podcast only adding to more credit. Like if I go to sleep and someone will be watching this podcast, learning 7 tips how to become a real estate investor, right? So these evergreen contents that I'm creating through podcasts will give me the credit that I don't have to lead gen all the time, right? They can just watch me and contact me, and say, hey, I saw your video. And I have so many people that came up to me and say, hey, I saw your video, and I like what you said about that tip, and therefore that's why I reach out to you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who's your client? Are you trying to reach out to more realtors, or are you trying to reach out to more clients?
More clients. It depends. I mean, people are using social media to recruit and build teams and build companies. You know what I mean? For me personally, I am doing it. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, I'm creating podcasts and sharing what I do on a daily basis. How do I create my wealth through real estate? I used to take my kids out of open houses, and when I buy an ugly house, I would take my kids with me and showing them, oh, that's a pool, we're gonna cover it up, and we're gonna turn it into another house, so and so. And I used to be able to do that with them when they were much younger, but now they're in high school, and their schedule is a lot more busy than I am nowadays. So I can't continue taking them on with me, but I can share with them through using social media platform, and kind of seeing them watching it and engaging with it and say, oh, Daddy, I didn't know you did that. That was so cool, right? So now they still can connect with me in a sense, learning what I do through podcasts. And my daughter, for example, she would take the podcast to share it with her friends, right? And so that's something that I feel. And then my son too, he has a friend that want to learn about real estate at 13. I was like, okay, I just share with her your podcast, yeah. And I think that at the end of the day, for me, I'm using social media, the platform, to teach my kids and keep them engaged what I do on a daily basis.
That's awesome. I mean, I don't have any kids, so Mine's not as groundbreaking as that, but you know, along the same lines as Evan is that you know, I'm trying to build attraction and do attraction through a good personal brand. I think there's a lot of different ways similar to you where a lot of realtors can just try to sell. Hey, here's this new listing. Here's this new listing. Here's this new listing. And that's great because you're going to get known for the guy like, okay, so if I want a listing, yeah, this guy sells homes. But at the same time, kind of like what you were saying, that's just kind of one trick pony type of thing. It's not very bigger picture type of thing. And I think the better the brand that I can build, the more attraction of business and the type of people that I want to work with will come to me because they'll say, oh, well, yeah, Vin is in real estate. And actually, I relate to a lot of the stuff that he's been putting out on all the content. So I trust him and it makes my job a little bit easier because as real estate agents, we're all consumers too. And I hate when I get a cold call or someone's door knocking me and it's like, and how do you feel that? But how do you imagine the person doing that? How do they feel? It makes me feel not the best.
Yeah.
So that's along the same line as Evan's. Without the kid stuff, you know, just giving a better presence, building a personal brand so people will trust and actually come to me because I'm being myself and, you know, that kind of thing. So
like if I were just to like look for a real estate agent, like how would I, you know, like I would go and ask around.
Right.
Like who do you recommend in the area if I wasn't. But now with social media, like if I was already following you,
exactly,
like I trust you. Like you're giving me sound advice on this property and this, and you sold this and that.
So take your realtor as an example. She did something really great. She keep you informed. She help you, makes you feel good throughout the exhausting process. Because selling a house or buying a house is exhausting.
It's emotional.
Right?
Yeah,
it's very emotional for me too.
Yeah,
right. So as a professional, I think our job is to make it easier on you and make it seamless. But you know, there will be stress. However, you have someone that kind of guide you through that process. And my goal personally is to, you know, create that process and kind of enlighten them beforehand. So using the podcast can be one way for them to like, hey, if you're a first time buyer or you're a first time seller, okay, I have a video that I made. There's a podcast that I interview someone and you can check it out and, you know, before our meetings. So when I show up to the meeting, they somewhat ease off a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So answer your question, but using social media, using video, what are we doing it for as a real estate agent? And that's that. And then for you, same thing too. When you're doing your video, you're engaging with people, you're connecting with people, you're relevant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what makes it so important and like so fun and so entertaining. It's not boring, it's not dull every time. There's always something new about we learn in your video about your kids or you know, your dogs, for example. So these kind of things that you're relatable. You know what I mean? And as real estate agent, being exposed to social media, being on podcasts, we're trying to be more relatable as well.
Yeah.
Because behind it, it's not just a transaction. It's
a person.
It's a person
Totally.
behind
Person
it.
behind that
Totally.
person. So
And in real estate, there's so many people behind the transaction, right? There's a buyer agent, there's a seller agent, there's an escrow officer, loan officer, appraiser, and inspector. There's so many bodies involved in one transaction. So that's why, you know, it's important that we kind of stay connected with our client.
Yeah.
And like the one thing you're like, I don't think you're like hitting on is that you're involved in a once in a lifetime moment with this person.
Yeah.
Like
One of their biggest
Could be their
transactions
biggest
ever.
financial transaction.
Yeah. And they're putting that trust in you.
Right.
So like for me, I need someone that like, this is my dream home. Like, and you're part of it. Like I'm bringing you to my dream home and you made this happen for me.
Right.
So it's like you're part of this moment in time that people will never forget you.
Right.
Like, you know, you found me my dream home. We got, you know, this and that. So I think people forget that real estate agents are like a big part of this monumental life moment for all of us.
It's a home.
Yeah, it's a home. It's not
It's a American dream. It's a home.
for the majority of the people. It's not investments.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
It's not detached like investments. Like, but when you're buying someone's home, it's so meaningful. And like for me right now, I'm emotionally attached to the home we're selling. So we went a whole 6 months saying, nope, not selling. Okay, let's rent. Nope, let's sell. Nope, let's rent. We went back and forth. And she's like, it's whatever you want, Mai. You know, there was no
There you
pressure
go.
because I could not let go of this house.
Yeah.
And it took me living here to feel like this was my home to let go of the other house.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah. I mean, real quick, even though we are part of the big moments in life, I would say the investment part is a big one too. Just because even though investment doesn't sound as great, but I am someone who benefited from an investment. My parents put those seeds out at the beginning, and that's how I'm able to kind of live, right? Because I got set up with that house, and things like that. So
your parents bought you a house?
well, yeah, they basically helped me. They helped me. They helped me, and I'll put that out
We're
here.
gonna cut this part out,
But-
guys. We're self-made.
But that's the benefits of real estate, right?
Self-made.
When they first got their first house, they built enough equity, and they were like, "Hey, you know what, young one, you need help? All right, well, here's some help because we did the right moves with this first home, so that we can put you in a position."
Well, that's
no,
what you
Vin-
call generational wealth.
Yeah,
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
So
But I think we need to acknowledge the immigrant children who are
Totally.
part of that missing that generational wealth, where we are not only coming here to a new country, our parents still have not made it,
yep,
are living on mattress money, and now we are financially responsible for not only their care but our children's care.
Yeah.
And we are now playing catch up instead of having that first foot through the door.
Right.
We are constantly catching up,
Right.
because now there's no general wealth for me to pass on to my children. It's actually my grandchildren, right? Because I'm in my 40s. By the time I pass away and this house is passed on, it's not even for my kids.
all right,
Right. So I think that like a lot of immigrant children, first generation, actually have a setback.
right,
And then like the part of like we don't believe in like old folks homes, or like
Right,
we
right.
really
You gotta
take care of our older generation. I bought my parents a house.
That's right. I was gonna say that.
They didn't buy me a house.
right.
And so I'm financially supporting them, as well as trying to build my financial wealth, but also build wealth for my children. So there's like so much that I need to like catch up on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it says a lot with the risks you take, the businesses you've built, and kind of where you're at now to kind of be able to take care of all that. So, and we definitely appreciate all the
Right, for
information.
sure. Yeah.
Because this is some fire valuable information. And hopefully you guys take
Molly,
away.
thank you again
Thanks
for
for having
welcoming
me.
us
Yeah.
to your home and your beautiful kitchen.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we get to do this together.
Yeah.
And to all the audience who's watching this video, I think this is as real as it gets.
Yeah.
We're here, mine is real, we're here cooking. And
In her kitchen.
yeah.
Kind of cooking in my kitchen.
and like I say, you're the reason I gravitate toward your content because how real you are as a person.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
for me, I'm like that's just for me. That's how I connected with you.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So where can the people find you? If they don't even, if the two people that don't know about you, where can they find you?
It's at My Healthy Dish. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And hopefully TikTok will be around when this video comes out.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right.
See ya.
Thank you.
Woo.